So this morning I'm just going to get right on and talk about this. So far I've been reviewing the Meeden painting set with the French Easel. So it's the Meeden French Easel painting set. And within that you get 4 mediums. You get watercolour, gouache, oil paint and acrylic, and you get brushes to suit each. And I have already done a review of the watercolour and the gouache and the watercolour brushes and the paper. So in this video I'm going to tell you about the oil paints. We're going to have a look at them, see what the texture and the pigment is like, and the oil brush set, or oil painting brush set. We're going to have a look at that. Then we're going to have a look at the acrylics. Now this is quite an unusual acrylic set because it's got 12 basic and it's got 12 pastel colours. I haven't actually seen that before, so I'm quite interested to see what them pastel colours are like. And we have the acrylic paintbrush set. I have reviewed acrylics before, but this is slightly different because it has the pastels. And if you remember, I absolutely loved the brushes and still do. And fortunate enough to have this set as well. So we're going to review them. And with them, I'm going to have a look at the detail brushes that come in the packet as well. And we're also going to have a look at the painting knives. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint on this canvas here. Yes, it already has paint on it, but you know, I can't keep using canvases, so I've decided to use this. And you know, it'll be quite interesting to see if the oil paint and the acrylics go over what's ever there anyway. So I just felt that was good enough to get a feeling for the texture and what have you. So what I'm going to do first is have a look at the oil paints. So let's have a look at the brushes first. You get 10 pieces, and on the side here it says that you get a flat, 2 flats, 2 number 1 flats, it says, a round number 3, filbert number 1, filbert number 2, filbert number 3, filbert number 4, 2 fan brushes, 3 fan brushes. Now I'm not an oil painter, so I wouldn't at this moment understand why you'd need 3 fan brushes. But as I did with acrylic, I'm going to be teaching myself that this year. I taught myself acrylic last year on top of all the other mediums that I do. And this year coming, I'm hoping to venture into oil painting. So it's really good to have this set. Let's have a look at the brushes, shall we? So, there we are. They're quite long. They're longer than your normal standard acrylic brushes. Oil paint brushes are longer than most of their other brushes, such as their acrylics. Now the reason oil painting brushes are longer is because generally most people stand at an easel to oil paint. I expect they do with acrylic paint, so why there would be a difference there is beyond me, but that is the reason why they have longer brushes. It also helps them to stand back and create more gestural marks and what have you. So yeah, it's a very brief explanation of why oil painting brushes are so long. But let's have a look at see if we can find out what the brushes are made of. Washed hog bristle is what they are made of. Now, I've never used a brush like that, so I don't know. There's no hair lossing, they're durable, and no fluffy tips. Let's have a look at them, shall we? Let's take this big one here. Yeah, they're different. They are definitely bristly, but they are also fairly soft, which I quite like. Had an odd hair come out there, but as long as that doesn't do that more. And these ones are glued. Well, it's not glued, it's special substance. I can't quite offhand remember the name of it, to put round these just to keep them in shape. So we have some different size filberts. And a round brush, and then 3 fan brushes for some reason. So they are soft but stiff at the same time, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to put them to one side and let's have a look at the important issue. The oil paints themselves. Let's have a look at the back of the box. So it's a reasonable colour range, slightly different to the watercolours and the acrylics, and they give you pigment numbers, and they also give you light fast numbers and whether they're transparent or semi-opaque. And we've got a mixture. We've got a few opaques, a couple of semi-opaques. There's a transparent one there, and seems like the purpley blue ones are the transparent ones. Oh, we've got a few more here. So there's a good mix there, and if you wanted to glaze with a blue, red, green, then that's going to be quite easy with this set. And we've got obviously a few opaque colours, but they're very heavy. They're very heavy, strong light fastness. I've just noticed it says there. That's good. You can only take from that what you will. You'd have to look into the serial numbers on the box to find out. So these are the paints, and that's not a bad selection. Payne's Grey, Black, Burnt Umber, they're the ones you need. Red Ochre, a couple of reddy colours, yellows. Good mixture, I'd say. Not bad at all, not bad at all. And they're very big tubes. They're actually 22mm tubes, which is a lot bigger than some of the other paints that they've given you, such as the watercolours. So you get quite a lot of this oil paint in here. Maybe it's because it's the French Easel set and they thought that people would oil paint more than they would the other things, but I don't know about that. So shall we have a look at some of the colours? See how they spread. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this disposable palette that also comes. I've never used one of these, so I'm a bit out of my comfort zone for this, but I'm going to open this up. There's the mixing palette, and we also have this big board. Now I'm not going to use this today. Firstly, I need to find out what side. They are actually both shiny on each side. I'm just a bit frightened to mess it up before I really know what I'm doing, so I'm going to leave that for the moment. But I'm going to use these sheets, and inside here you get some lovely plastic sheets, and you need to use the shiny side by the look of this. So let's use a brush. I'm going to use a smaller brush. I'm just going to dip it in my water to get rid of that substance that's on there. Let it soak for a minute or two, then give it a bit of a wiggle round in the water. We want to get all that glue type substance off. I know what it is, I just can't remember the name of it. It's what they use in watercolours. So we've got that nice and soft, yeah, got that nice and soft, but stiff at the same time. You can feel you can really probably scratch out with that. Okay, let's find a colour. Let's use a violet. I'm going to use it neat to begin with. Again, there's no seal on the tube, so oil paint is a lot thicker than the other paints, but that seemed to come out of there nice. Let's have a look, shall we? Let's just dry this brush off. And, oh yeah, that's nice. It's got a thickish texture about it. I'd say if I was going to compare it to anything, I'd say it's like a very soft oil pastel texture. Let's just see what it does on here. I hope you can see properly on this. Well, that's not bad, is it? Oh yeah, nice. I've never painted in oil paints before, so this is kind of new to me. And it's covering up what's under there. And this is a opaque colour. So it's doing the job, doing exactly what it should do. And the more I spread it out, the thinner it's going to get. So I'm not going to do that too much. Look at that. It actually looks like oil pastel on there, which is nice. So I feel I could probably get on with this. And you got, that paint's going to go quite a long way, isn't it? So I'm going to use a little bit of turpentine, just because I never have. This is completely new to me now. Oh yeah. Wow, I kind of know the process, it's just that I'm a little bit frightened of it at the moment. Look at that. Look how that's just made that go very much more fluent. Wow. Yes, I can understand the fat over lean rules now. But that has mixed really well with that turpentine. Really, really well. I'm impressed. I'm really looking forward to using oil paints now. Wow. So you could probably use that on here and spread that out a bit further if that's what you needed to do. Probably use it for a bit of blending or something. But that's nice paint. Not bad at all. So I'm going to clean the brush up. Basically because I want to get rid of the terps. I'm going to use a little bit of linseed oil. This is completely new stuff to me. I've never done this before. I'm just trying to give you an idea of what these paints are like. But I'm going to get a tiny bit of linseed oil on my brush. And I'm just going to... Oh yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. Now, that's a lot thinner than this. I'd say probably for the next I would probably use a little bit less. But again, that's really, really nice. And you can see here how it would go over the top. The less you can use, the quicker it's going to dry. So it'll be interesting for me to see how quick this dries on here. So I've got a little bit of linseed oil, terps, and on its own. So I'm going to let that be, and I'm going to see how long it takes to dry so I can teach myself the methods. But talking about the paint, it's a very smooth consistency. It's not too thick straight out of the tube, which I also like. I mean, it is thick, don't get me wrong, it is very thick, and it's like an oil pastel texture on there. I'd say, I don't know, probably along the lines of the Light Wish. So it's kind of, for me, this is kind of like painting with an oil pastel, without an oil pastel on my hand. And just a brush. I really, really like that. That's super. Absolutely super. So, the opaque colours definitely cover. You melt them down with a bit of terps, they become a bit more see-through, obviously, and a bit of linseed. They become even more less see-through, so you can build up your layers. I understand that now. Understand exactly what I need to be doing. So I just need to find a little bit of terps. There's only a tiny little bit in here, so I'm just going to clean the brush out in there and get some more terps to put inside this bottle. I need to sort this out, John. Right there. Look at that. Let's clean that. Excellent. Fantastic. I mean, look, that's how you'd get a wash, look. Just use a bit more terps. Or a lot more linseed oil, depending on what layer it is. So the idea of this video is not to tell you how to oil paint, because I don't know yet. I know, but I haven't experienced it. So it's no good me trying to teach you yet. But as soon as I've experienced it, we're going to have a whole new look at this. So the brushes, lovely. I like them. I like the stiffness, but there's also some softness. The oil paint, again, is just like the watercolours and the gouache. Got a really smooth, very good pigmented colour to it. Really, really like that. Really like that a lot. Let's just have a go with a palette brush, shall we? Just because we can. I'm going to pick that off there. And look at that. Yes, this is superb. Oh, I'm really going to enjoy learning how to do this. And I like the paint as well. Be interesting to see what that's like compared to other oil paints. And I will be doing that at some point, because I do have some. Well, in fact, I have quite a few that I've just never used as yet. So let's now have a look at the acrylics, shall we? We've seen the acrylics before. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a tube of the normal colours. I'm going to put a little bit on there. I'm just going to use a brush to spread it out. That's lovely. Lovely and smooth. You can feel the difference between that and the oil paint. I really love the oil paint because it's sort of like an oil paint, oil pastel texture to it. But this is a lot smoother and a lot thinner, and just as vibrant. But the one I'm interested in the most is these pastel colours, because I have done acrylics before. I'll show you the acrylic again. Sorry if I keep showing you this, but it is the one that I've done with the Meeden Acrylics. But let's have a look at these pastel colours. Just move my canvas out of the way. So look at these. They are very unusual colours. I can't say I've ever seen anything quite like it. But then I've only been doing acrylics for a year, whereas I've been doing other mediums for 53 years. So yeah, this is all new learning curves for me, but thoroughly enjoying every second of it. Probably makes me about 25 to 30 different mediums that I use now. I'm gonna, I don't know, let's use a different colour. Let's use this yellow here, because that looks really, really interesting. And again, oh look, wow, look at that colour. I'm going to zoom in so you can see better. That very pastel colour. Wow, I like that. I'm going to get a pink as well, just because I can. Very smooth, very vibrant, lovely colours. Let's see the transparency of these. Every single one is opaque, bar the spring green, which is semi-transparent. And with these acrylics, you have a few semis and a few opaques. But let's just get my watercolour pad here, and I'm just going to use a little piece of this pink neat. Oh yeah, and it's amazing the difference in feel to this gouache from previously and the watercolour as previously. This is the acrylic. It's got a definite lovely feel to it. I do love acrylic. Never thought I'd ever utter them words. Put a little bit of water with it. Spreading a lot further. I mean, I've hardly used any paint here, have I? And it's really spreading out. A little bit more water. Excellent. Very, very nice paint, all this from Meeden. I mean, I'm not going to tell you it's top professional paint, because I would probably be wrong in saying that. But what we do have is excellent paint for somebody that aspires to be professional or is an intermediate or beginner. And these come at a very, very good price. Let's have a look at this yellow, shall we? What a lovely colour that is. Look at that. That is a beautiful colour. Very pastely, beautiful. Beautiful. Bit of water with it. Yeah, I can see myself having a lot of fun with these. These pastel colours are superb. I love them. See if that goes onto there. Covers up well. Well, excellent. Excellent, excellent stuff from Meeden. I have to say that they should be thoroughly pleased with themselves for what they've turned out. You don't have any linseed oil or turpentine in this set. I think maybe that would be a good idea for Meeden to perhaps put a small set of that in there. But you have this palette set, you have the wooden palette, you have the easel, you have the watercolours, gouache, acrylics, oil paints. And you can see here, from what I've done here, you can see exactly what these colours are like. So we got watercolour on top of gouache. These were still wet when I done them, but these are the gouaches, very matte. These are the watercolours, there is a difference in that they look thinner and possibly not so chalky, if you like, but that's the difference between them. This is the acrylics. I think they are lovely. I do love acrylics now. And this is the oil paints, and you get a very different look from each one of them. And obviously if you add mediums or water, you get a very different look as well. That's really, really nice. Okay, so all in all, I just wanted to show you all of that so that you know exactly what you're getting out of this set.